parity among CAC women's soccer squads was once again on display in 2014, as fourth-seeded Frostburg State captured its second CAC women's soccer championship in the last 3 years with a 2-0 triumph over sixth-seeded Mary Washington in last year's title game. Frostburg State and Christopher Newport represented the CAC in the NCAA tournament, each dropping tight contests in Round 1 action. Let's take a look at what's in store across the conference this season, with previews of each team as we count down the preseason poll throughout.
This year's goals and expectations, goal-wise is definitely to make the playoffs. We're excited about the run that we plan to make there, and we're working hard pushing for that as really the goal. Expectations, we just expect the girls to work hard every day, put 100% effort throughout, on and off the field. We're really trying to focus off the field this year. We believe if we can get our academics in order, have a good structure, and really focus on just being good citizens off the field, we think those characteristics will apply on the field as well, and we think the success will come along with it.
Our goals for this season are obviously to make playoffs, but then hopefully our overall team goal is definitely to win a championship.
This is an easy question. We had some definite key players that we won't have coming back this year with Mackenzie Gates and Hannah Jorick, our center midfielder and our goalkeeper, who's been the starter the past 3 years. Definitely going to be tough to replace, but we're excited about the girls that are ready to step up and fill those roles this coming season.
I think our off-season training program is going to help us a lot this year. We had a lifting program, we did a lot of ACL prevention type of things, and a lot of conditioning. I think that'll go a long way. Our
key returners this season, we've got a great senior class, Faye Ansary, Kristen Peckman, and Morgan Gates. We're really excited about their leadership and what they'll bring to the table. Got quite a quality group just across the board below that, juniors and sophomores. Really excited about the sophomore class and what they're going to be able to do after getting quite a bit of playing time their freshman year and really getting accustomed to the CAC. We're feeling like they're going to make big strides this sophomore season, and just going to be a good year overall for our returning class, and hopefully the mix with the youngsters will go well. This year's newcomers, we've got a great freshman class that we're excited about. Definitely we'll see a few players likely in the starting lineup and on the field from game one. Couple transfers in the mix that will also add some experience to go along with just having some new faces around the field, in the training room, in the locker room, which is always just good for the team bonding. And looking forward to seeing how they, like we said, all kind of mix together. And so far so good this preseason.
What I'm most looking forward to this season is definitely just being an underdog and proving other teams wrong, and to show that we can be a top competitor in the CAC.
I'm looking forward to our schedule this year. There's a lot of teams on the schedule that we've never played before, and I know there's some quality teams out there. So for both CAC and non-conference, I think we'll have a good season.
This year's schedule we definitely took up a notch, trying to make sure we're ready for the CAC schedule when we hit it late fall, towards October. So we've added TC&J to the schedule, which is number 12 in the country. We get them about 5th game of the season, so we're excited to see where that will really test us. Followed right away by E-Town. So those 2 games I think are going to really show us where we're at. We got a couple games to build into that, and then from there we pretty much get right into the CAC schedule. So we're excited about it. We know it's tough, but we know that's what it's going to take to compete at the highest level, and that's what this team's trying to do.
My favorite part about being a student athlete is that it makes me better at time management, and it makes me a well-rounded student, and is preparing me for life after school.
The expectations for the coaches this year is for returning players to come back with more experience, a little heartier from having some seasons under their belt, for them to set the tone and to create a culture for incoming players. And I think that leads into our goals. And every year we're looking to play in the conference tournament at the end of the season. We want post-conference games, and really feel like we're capable of that this year.
I think we're really looking forward to all the incoming freshmen. We have a really big class, so that's exciting. I don't think we have any expectations along the lines of our overall record, but I just think the expectation is to play every game to the best of our abilities and then go from there. Personally, as a senior going out, I'm gonna give it my all. I'd love to score a bunch of goals and leave my mark. I think collectively as a team, we're young and we're excited and we have fresh legs, so I think it should be interesting. I think people in the past have had their reservations about women's soccer team because we haven't had the best record in the past, but I think it's time to put that behind us, and I think it should be a really good season.
We have a rising junior, Rebecca Krasinski, who was a conference player her freshman year. Suffered an injury over the winter going into her sophomore year that had bigger impact on her than I think we thought, with an eye injury, and looking forward to her getting back to playing at the high level she came in with. Erin Harris, as a senior, has done a terrific job in the off season, coming in and leading her team, and in the spring really establishing some expectations for her teammates. We're looking forward to Erin and Rebecca both leading our team. I think we're looking for a lot from our incoming class, specifically Brooke Hillenbrand, who is from Chantilly, and Caroline Phillips from Baltimore, are freshmen coming in who we feel are going to have an immediate impact. They're fit, they're committed, they have a strong work ethic, and they're disciplined, and feel like they're really going to set the tone for the rest of the freshmen, and all of them can have an impact on our performance.
Personally, in the off season, I love that as a team, we're always together. We're doing yoga, we're playing on the backfield, we're always communicating in some way or another and hanging out, and I think that translates really well into the season. And I think last season, or last spring especially, we were really, really close collectively, so I think that that'll hopefully have a positive impact on the season.
Yeah, we spend a lot of time talking about our team culture and talking about how we want to train and how we are viewed on campus and out in the community. I think the culture is established by our returning players, and they've done a terrific job, just 24 hours in, and feel like they've done a great job at setting a really strong example for our incoming players, and they've embraced it. So it's exciting to see.
Leadership-wise, I think obviously as a senior, it's my job to kind of help the incoming freshmen and answer any of their questions and kind of calm their nerves a little bit, because I know as a freshman I was super nervous. But other than that, I think there's a lot of expectations on the field to shoot a lot, score a lot. Gail's expressed that she expects me to really put up some points this season, so that should be interesting to see how that plays out. But leadership-wise, I just think that there's always that expectation that the upperclassmen are there to lead and help with the underclassmen as much as possible.
We're super excited about particularly the first half of our schedule. Last year, this time of year, we spent a lot of time on the road. And I think everybody feels strongly that being at home is an advantage, where it's less of a disruption with your routine, and it's of course nice to have friends and family. So we're very excited to host the home opener and then build on those midweek games where we're at home as well, where last year it was a little tougher traveling and integrating new players and trying to do all of that at the same time. This year I feel like we'll have opportunities to spend more time preparing at home for our big conference games that come later in our season. For the coaching staff, and I think for the players, particularly the players that are older, that have a couple of years, we're really excited about playing in a Capital Athletic Conference because it's a competitive, strong conference, and we look forward to being that upset team that I feel like we've got everything to gain and nothing to lose. And every year I feel like we get a little bit closer, to competing with a Frostburg and with a CNU and closing that gap. So it's exciting for us to be pushed and to be challenged, and I feel like we've got some early games at the DC Classic with a Catholic university that preps us for that, so that we're going into October feeling like we're ready to play, because those conference games are important.
I think it's great that we have a lot of home games, and I think it's great that we have a lot of games at neutral sites. I think going away and traveling in the past, we haven't had the best experiences. We've had a lot of bus breakdowns and stuff, so I think that's always in the back of our mind. But it's always super exciting to play at home and to play in front of your home crowd, and I think that helps us a lot, the support from our fans. I think it's great. I love the competition. I will always respect the fact that we have so many hard, talented teams in our conference. I think that prepares us well out of season having those tougher games, and we're looking forward to all the tough competition in the season. Actually, both of my parents went to Marymount, so the athletic sense, I thought it would be really cool to kind of follow in their footsteps and have that whole legacy going. But I think Marymount does a very good job of building a sense of community within the student athletes, and I think that's very appealing to anyone looking out from the outside looking in.
Goals and expectations for 2015. For us coming off, a quality season and getting to that last conference game, and obviously we lost Mary Wash, but had an opportunity to go to playoffs last year. So without a doubt, the goal is to get to conference play and to keep striving towards getting in that direction. And I think we've made some great strides in that direction. So we feel really comfortable with it. We're a pretty young program still, I believe. But I think the expectations for us as a program are to make playoffs and make a run in conference play. So
goals and expectations, I would say, are just putting 100% every time we're on the field, on or off the field, positive attitudes all around, and just being an awesome team together as a unit, not just individually.
Key losses. We lost a group of 4 seniors last year that were all starters, big impact players for us. Three starting midfielders and an outside back. So, both were in the program for quite some time. They're all 4-year players, and losing that is a big deal. So they were all good players, and so for us right now, it's bringing in the players now, and obviously some of the freshman players are going to make impact for us. Is gaining that experience, but just key losses. Great kids. 3 of them were captains last year, so we're definitely looking to keep moving forward with new players with that. I think we would first start with Carrie Pagels. She's a 4-year player, senior captain last year, so she's a 2-year captain for us. And everything starts with her. It's a defensive player. She's a solid leader for us. Megan DeFalco, who will be a captain this year, returning player, 4-year player. He plays up front for us, had a quality season last year. And, those 2 players right there. And, of course, other seniors, Lauren Price. He transferred in a few years ago for us. And Chelsea Mariner, another senior back. So I think you always look for leadership and look at those seniors first. And so there are players that we're really looking forward to really help us out in the right direction. Now we have some key players. Kayla Ryan for us, grabbing an ECNL player from FC Bucks is our first ECNL player. So we feel real great with Kayla. Sam Netterman, another quality player for us from Brick Memorial. We feel really good with the freshman group. They're in great fitness right now, and we really feel really comfortable that we'll have 4 or 5 freshmen making a huge impact for our program this year that are ready to play right away for us. So Janiyah Moore right here at our hometown, CR kid, is top 11 player in the state, and so hopefully her up top. We're looking forward to it with these kids, and they're young, they're eager to go, but we definitely have a group that's going to make an impact for us.
The best thing about being a student athlete is being involved with the whole entire school, because you're not just going to school, going to class, going home, not doing anything. You go to class, you do your homework, and then you go out and you get to enjoy time with your teammates. So I would just say, in general, the games that I'm most excited for are our conference games. And I know all the other games are just as important, but conference is what it really matters. So
conference schedule, I mean, the CAC, typically speaks for itself with us. It's always a competitive conference, with the Salisburys, the CNUs. York's always doing a great job up there with Vicky. And so we know what we're getting into with the conference. There's always typically no surprises there. And even with Frostburg, I mean, it's competitive. It's, one of the best D3 conferences in the nation, no doubt. And so just being ready for that, I think coming off the last year and winning the games that we had in conference and just competing with all those teams last year, I think was a great stride for our program. Non-conference, we picked up Shenandoah University. We picked up Goucher again, which is just outside of Baltimore, or just inside of Baltimore here. I picked up a couple new ones. We saw some that we've had in the past. So non-conference is competitive. Right now, I think for our program, where the strength is still in the conference in the CAC schedule for us. So we feel good about it, and September 1st is right around the corner, so we're ready to go.
I think for us as a team, we just want to make sure as much as possible that we're coming together as a team from a unified perspective and big picture perspective. I think certainly wins and losses, we want to do the best we can, win as many games, be competitive in the conference. But I also think we want to have a team that's going to be about more than just soccer. We want to make sure that academically the girls are continuing to set that high standard that we've lived up to, and that we're also doing more around for the campus community as well as for the community in general here in Buena Vista. So I think goals and expectations are a team that's going to consistently compete in every single game, fight for that opportunity to win, but also make sure that we are representing the university in a positive light and making ourselves about more than just soccer. Key returner is probably the biggest key returner for us is Tatiana Monson, second team all conference. Had a ton of goals last season, so hopefully we'll get her to be able to reproduce that effort. Hopefully we'll put her in positions where she can continue scoring. Certainly, I think coaches in the conference recognize her abilities, so it's going to be an issue this year of hopefully creating an opportunity in which she's not our only scorer. I think Sierra Sorensen in the midfield was a fantastic player for us last year as a freshman. We'll look for big things from a senior in Alicia Blackham on the outside defense for us. And then I think we have some players returning in Mackenzie Cottle, who suffered through some injuries last year, but with a healthy spring and hopefully a strong summer of conditioning, hopefully she'll come in for us and make an impact. She did a really great job in our spring games, and so I'm confident that we can expect some good things from her. So I think certainly those four will put us in good positions, and we'll have hopefully the incoming class along with some other returners will give us hopefully we won't miss too much from the players we've lost this past year.
I'm really excited to see how the team comes together. So it's hard at SVU because you lose so many players every year. So we lost a few key players, but we have great talent coming back and some great freshmen coming in. So we want to be competitive in the conference and are looking forward to coming together as a team. It's been an interesting off-season because I was actually able to focus 100% on soccer and not be trying to balance two sports. But I also was injured for a lot of that, trying to heal from an end-of-season injury. It was good to focus on soccer, and then at the same time I got that hunger to play again, and I feel a lot better, and I'm excited to get on the field and to score some goals and win some games. The
non-conference schedule is, again, it's another challenging schedule. We open up with a Bridgewater team that was third or fourth in the ODAC. They're a very good program. and so it's always a great competition against them. I think our first weekend will be a great opportunity for some quality opposition as well, as we have our first classic weekend, bringing in Marymount to play Emory and Henry and Ferrum, and we'll play Emory and Henry and Ferrum as well. So those are great games. I look forward to the following weekend. We have a fantastic schedule, fantastic weekend as we play Roanoke first, who's a great ODAC team, and then the defending national champions in Lynchburg. So that's an awesome experience. They're a great program, and we certainly learn a lot, and hopefully we're getting closer and closer competitive-wise to them. Some good competition in D2 school Barton. We also schedule pretty hard as we go against Radford. D1 school, it's always fighting for a Big South championship, so it's a great experience. And then as far as the conference schedule is concerned, we open up right away with, I believe, St. Mary's away, and we've had 2 great games 2 years in a row. Both of them have been 1-1 games or 2-2 games. We've gone to double overtime in both games. So for us, it's one of these great competitions. Some good teams in Christopher Newport coming here. Salisbury is coming here. So those are 2 great teams at the top of the conference, as well as University of Mary Washington. So we have a great home schedule with some quality opposition. Our away schedule gives us Census York and Penn State Harrisburg, Frostburg State. So the conference is such that game in and game out, you got to bring your A game. If not, it's so easy to slip up and to lose a game. And so we fought very competitively last year in conference, but hopefully we can find the right mix to do a little bit better in it.
I've never been a super vocal person, and so to me, leadership is all through example. I can't expect my team to do it if I'm not going to do it myself, so I like to go out there and just work hard and be the leader through example. I love the opportunities that it's given me and the people that I've met. It's hard to move across the country, but to be able to play the sport that I love and have great coaches and great teammates has made all the difference. So.
I think our biggest goal this year is to continue the success that where we ended going to the CAC championship this past year. We're looking to be a little more consistent throughout the season. We started on a good note, finish on a good note, but we'd like to be a bit more consistent and really push for the conference championship and get an at-large bid or outright bid to the national tournament.
I think to make it to the finals again, and then to just become closer as a unit than we have been in the past.
I think anytime you graduate a good class, they're all key losses. I think one aspect that's going to be a bit different is the loss of Charlotte Owens in goal. She was kind of that girl that was the glue that held us together defensively, but I think that opens up a lot of competitions for the new kids. Competition drives success, so we're really excited to see what happens there.
Well, specifically, I worked on more endurance and then speed. And then as a group, I think everybody put in a lot of work this summer, and I think it's going to end up helping us.
I'd say Lizzie Wiest, Michelle Gibbons, 2 of our seniors, are 2 that stick out, but really I think our senior class is a very good one with Anna Brock and I'm missing somebody in there. Leah Roth as well. But I don't think we can really rely, say, who the key people are. I think it's going to be the entire unit that's going to help us be successful.
That's a big question. Everything. Pushing ourselves, getting even further. I think that's a goal that everybody has, is to make it to the NCAAs. Seeing you, my sister, yeah. And I'd like to get another shot at Frostburg.
I think we've got a real strong schedule. We open up with Shenandoah again this year, and we travel to Geneseo, who I believe is ranked nationally in preseason. We've got Messiah, who's always one of the top teams in the country. Catholic was a NCAA participant last year. I think total we've got 6 or 7 national tournament teams from this past year on our schedule, conference and out of conference. So we're real excited. It's going to be a big challenge, and I think the girls are really ready for it.
The sense of community, you come in and you have an automatic group of friends, so that helps especially.
Really good year. Last year is my first year, so we're obviously looking to build on the success and the things we implemented. We obviously love to make the conference tournament, and then I think it's been shown that anybody in the conference who makes that tournament has a chance to compete for the championship. So we believe that we have a good enough group to compete for that championship. That's ultimately the end goal. No, it won't be easy with a lot of other really good teams in the conference. But that's ultimately, we'd love to win the conference championship. Academically, we were very good last year. We had a 3.49, 3.48 team GPA on the year. So we're going to challenge the girls, see if we can get at least a 3.5 team GPA, see if we can get everybody over a 3.0.
We want to try to get into the top 2 of the regular season and to potentially get a first round bye, so we can win the conference championship. That's our ultimate goal, but in order to get there, I think every game we're going to need consistency across the team, from our best player to our bench.
Our 3 seniors are probably our biggest losses. We did have a couple, one who transferred and another player who didn't come back, but Lexi, McCarty, Liz Mosher, and Corinne Thompson were fantastic for us last year, not only with the ability on the field, but just their leadership, their experience. It's going to be very hard for even very good freshmen to come in and replicate what those 3 had in terms of just the 4 years of experience. So we'll definitely miss those 3 a lot this year. We have a lot of very good players. I think everybody in the group seems to have just gotten stronger and shown improvement from last year to this year. Really looking forward to seeing what 2 of our seniors, Morgan Dorsett and Jillian Sawyer, what they could bring, as well as one of our junior captains, Claire Kostelnick. Both of them, all 3 of those players have shown a lot of potential and a lot of quality over the past 2 or 3 years in their careers, and we're hoping that they can have, again, 2 seniors can go out on a high note this year, and then Claire can have a good junior year as well.
Well, everybody worked really hard over the summer individually, and we were able to come back in July to start training before we went to Spain. And we got to have some extra practices before and while we were in Spain, and we played 3 games in Spain. So that increased the level before we even got to preseason. And we had the incoming players in. They did a really great job of matching the level we're at, and I think all of them have a really good chance to compete for playing time. So I think overall this year we're at a much better starting point than we were last year at this time.
Again, we brought 7 freshmen in. I think we're excited about all of them. They each have something to add to the program. There's 2 or 3 who have really potential to possibly start, just depending on how they make the transition, how they do in the first couple of scrimmages and games. But Sammy Saunders, a center back, need the kind of center back depth. She's one that we have high expectations for in the center back position. Jenna Pastel, is another incoming freshman who's got a little bit of versatility to her. She'll probably see time in kind of all three lines, defense, midfield, and up top. And then Zoe Smedley is another one coming from an ECNL program that we're really excited about, very technical player. All three of those will have opportunities, as well as all of our other freshmen are going to have their opportunities, and we think can give a spark and have impact throughout the year.
I'm really looking forward to our first game. We put in all the work over the past couple of weeks, and we've learned each other's tendencies, so it's going to be exciting to see how it all comes together for the first game and how it progresses over the season. I think we have a pretty tough schedule this year, but it's nothing that we can't handle, especially in conference. I think the top teams are pretty even, so it makes it super competitive, but we have the potential to go out and win every single game.
I think it's a really good schedule. I think we've got a mix of some games that are a little bit easier for us, games that we go in and we expect to win. At the same time, we've got some games against very, very good teams. We play Elizabethtown, who's usually in the regionally ranked, nationally ranked conversation each year. We play Hopkins, who was a Final Four team last year in the NCAA tournament. So they're always going to be a very, very challenging team. But those teams really push us and help us, prepare for our conference schedule, which, again, very, very tough conference. I think last year specifically, Mary Washington, as the 6th seed, ended up in the finals against Frostburg against the 4th seed. And anybody in that top 6, once you make that tournament, has a chance to win it on any given year. So really, really tough conference, and we need a handful of really tough non-conference games to help us prepare.
My favorite part is being able to be a part of our team. We're like a family, so it's really great to be able to hang out, play with each other, and compete every day.
I have to say, number one, the goal will be to score. That was our weakness last year, and we recruited very heavily. We worked on it in the spring, so my expectation is that we'll be a more rounded team than last year.
We have those girls that have been here for a few years, so we mesh well and we connect well, and we're excited to bring in the new freshmen and see how they work with our team and see how they play with us.
The key returners that started last year would be Chelsea McDowell and Ashley Becker. Well, because they are defenders, and I always feel our defense is our strength, and they're both defenders, that is, I think that will help with the people that will replace some of the seniors in that role. Chelsea is one of the captains. I think we also have very good leadership. We have 4 captains, and they've done an outstanding job from the spring. That's Jamie Sokolis, Chelsea, Alexa Sherman, and Lakin Bull.
I think in the spring, Coach raised our bar of fitness and our work ethic and everything. We worked really hard in the spring, and Coach was happy for us. So she definitely wanted us to bring that back in the fall, and I think most of us are working extremely hard over the summer, so we can do that.
Newcomers would be our transfer, Corey Elliott. She was a transfer from the community college. Worked with us in the spring. She came here this past spring. So she has a very good upside potential. We recruited a lot of freshmen. That's always hard to say because some transition very fast with the pace of play and the physicality of the game. So I'm hoping that those freshmen will come in and be competing for a starting position and competing for a lot of playing time. Well, I just felt that we needed to have tougher schedule in the beginning. I mean, we're talking Ursinus, Johns Hopkins, Gettysburg, and just all of them really, to get us prepared for our conference, and that's why I did that. I want us mentally to be prepared, playing very good teams right from the bat, so we can learn instead of like years previously. We might have won quite a bit, but did we learn? No.
I'm most looking forward to our CAC games, definitely like our rivalries with CNU and Frostburg, and we have a big game against Johns Hopkins where we lost to them in the NCAAs 2 years ago, so I think it'll be a bittersweet game for us to get back out there and play them again and see how we are.
Yeah, I think the top 6, they can beat either any team, depending on the day. I felt as far as the top 3 would be Salisbury, Christopher Newport, and St. Mary's, really. But any of the others, they certainly can be right up there too. And hopefully York is part of that top 6. I think, again, it's going to be defense. We raised the bar in the spring, so I think you're going to see we're going to be more physical, we'll be more skilled, and we're going to be very competitive, both in practice and at games.
Well, we start every year with the simple expectation that we want to be competitive and prepared for every match we play. So we are in a unique position where we can play a lot of very good teams and have a very good schedule this year. And so our job is to organize the team and scout opponents and make sure that we're a tough out, really, for everyone who's on our schedule. In terms of competing for conference championships, obviously, that's our top priority. As the defending tournament champion, of course, our expectation would be that we would certainly be in that final game and have a chance to advance and play in the NCAA tournament. I think the players would agree with me that we'd like to win a game or two in that NCAA tournament. We were in a good position to do that last year and did not advance, as a result of a tie and a shootout. So we have a good returning team, and I think the bar is going to be set as high as it's ever been in terms of postseason success.
I think our goals are to make it back to the CAC and win it, and to make it as far as possible in the NCAAs.
Well, we had 2 seniors. One was a playmaking center mid who was fantastic, Stephanie Fazenbaker, and could do pretty much everything for us with the ball. And then we had a senior goalkeeper. So without question, the goalkeeper position is wide open, and there'll be very good competition at that position. And then Stephanie's leadership role, I think, as much as her on the field role, will be a void that will be filled, of course. But those are important losses. So we have a fantastic midfield. We have senior leadership in every area of the field. We have great speed up front. In our wide players, we have fantastic center mids. Brooke Longo is one of the best skillful, powerful, box-to-box center mids in the conference. Our holding mid, Kelsey Wentworth, is also returning, will be a senior. And we had 2 freshmen compete in the other midfield areas, and they're both back and will be fantastic. We expect to start 2 seniors as center backs. And we return our entire lineup with those 2 exceptions of goalkeeper and Stephanie's position, which ultimately became as a second forward, really, as the season progressed.
Our off season has been really intense. We've been really motivating each other, especially throughout summer. Through text and group messages, we've been really getting on each other.
Well, goalkeeper is the big question mark for us. We do have a freshman who's very good and experienced who will compete with a rising senior and a rising junior for the position. We'll let the field performance really determine who's going to get the lion's share of minutes in there or whether we'll be rotating. We're open to however the competition plays out, but that's obviously our biggest question mark. We expect to have experience really in every area of the field, and I think that the other freshmen are going to be good and provide depth, but I think it's going to be hard to crack into our lineup this year, I think, with the returning talent we have.
I'm most looking forward to going back to Johns Hopkins, where we ended our season last year, and just getting another shot at them. Out of conference, we play some great teams, and I'm really looking forward to them, especially Gettysburg and Carnegie Mellon and Johns Hopkins.
We're playing 2 top 10 teams right out of the gate. We're going to visit Johns Hopkins, who was a Final Four team last year, and Carnegie Mellon, who was a Final 8 team last year in the NCAA tournament at their stadiums. So we're going to test ourselves against national level competition right away in September, even in the first weekend when we go to Johns Hopkins. We're able to play really good teams in a variety of conferences because of our location. So we'll continue to do that in the non-conference part of the schedule. Gettysburg, Stevenson. We'll go up and play W&J, Washington Jefferson near Pittsburgh. And then, of course, the conference schedule is always tough. The CAC is a fantastic women's soccer conference. There's teams fighting on the edge of the conference to just get into the 6. And then I think among the teams that qualify for the tournament, among the 6, frankly, any of those teams could have a good run and advance and actually win the automatic bid. So it's really competitive top to bottom, and we look forward to it.
My favorite part about being a student athlete is the closeness among the teams. We all just come together. Sometimes it gets a little competitive, but I just love the atmosphere of it.
Our goals for this upcoming season and expectations are fairly simple for us. We would like to win a conference tournament, go on to NCAAs. I think we're going to go game by game, and that's our big thing this year, is that every game is important to us because we know it dictates how we end up in the NCAA tournament.
So our goals is obviously to win. With that comes all of our little goals that work with winning, working hard off the field, working hard on the field. But our ultimate goal is to win the conference championship and then go far into the NCAA tournament.
You can't replace Michelle Conrad. As a goalkeeper, she's been a leader for 4 years, a tremendous presence on our team and on the field. We do feel we have some goalkeepers that are going to step up and maybe even take it to a different level. And then you have someone like Jackie Holtzman, who I'm very proud of, the way she progressed through her career, ended up being an all-conference player for us. And then, unfortunately we lost Morgan early last year. But, the spunk that Morgan brings every day, the way she fights for her teammates, those are things that you hope will transcend to the players that are coming behind them. And I think they did. I think that's their legacy, is how hard they work and how much they want it. We have, 7 all-conference players last year. 6 of them are returning, or 5 of them are returning, rather, and we're excited for that. I think we have, we have Casey Arnaud and Tabitha is going to be back in the back line. Our outside back with Heather, who's it's going to be a 3-year starter for me. And then you got the midfield, our midfield core. Their juniors are young, they're very good, and we have some, some transfers that came in the last 2 or 3 years with Samantha Beck, known as Mampy, has done a tremendous job for us. So up top, you have Tori Luck and Logan, Lindsay and Jenna. We have a good core of kids coming back. With 12 seniors, the expectations are high, but those 12 understand their roles. They're key to how we play, they're key to the locker room, and key to our success.
Everything we do in the off-season prepares us for in-season, whether it's on the field or off the field with our academics. Everything leads to how we play on the field. Team bonding is very important to us. What we do in the summer to prepare us for the season. So making sure that we come into preseason fit, our touches aren't too bad on the ball, it all prepares us for the season.
You know, I would say the whole freshman class. I mean, there's kids there that are really ready to pop. You know, you have Jenna, and you have some of our younger players in that freshman class are going to just really make the difference. Haley, DePino, there's a lot of new kids who are going to really make a difference. Margot, and I think what they give us is depth, and they also show what the future is about. They're their soccer IQs are very high.
I'm looking forward to our schedule. We have a very tough schedule, and obviously we are looking forward to that. We don't fear anyone, but the competition is definitely something that we enjoy. And winning, obviously, a lot of the games, hopefully, is what we strive on, is what our goal will be.
Well, you know, our non-conference schedule this year is quite competitive. We start out with teams like W&L in our tournament coming up. We have Lynchburg, the national champs, on our schedule this year. So we're excited about that. You know, there's not one team in our non-conference schedule we look past. You know, we have Virginia West. We have a lot of teams that we really want to get after this year, and because we know that the quality of our non-conference schedule will dictate our seeding in NCAAs or getting even into the NCAAs. In conference, you know, every team's a battle. You know, I don't look past anyone. I respect them all. You know, I like our conference. I like our coaches. I think they always come prepared. By the time you get into conference play, there's no secrets anymore, so they're ready for us. So it's about us performing, and I think that's the big thing this year we're concentrating on, is that we go game by game, that every game is a performance for us.
Out of conference, we play really tough teams. We play teams like Virginia Wesleyan, we play Lynchburg. So obviously that will help us as we go into the NCAA tournament. And in conference, we have a strong conference. We love playing our in-conference games. There's always competition. No one usually knows how the outcome comes, but playing in conference and out of conference games is important to us.
It's exciting with our 12 seniors. I know they're excited to be at home for most of their season. They're a great group. I really appreciate their support over the last 3 years. They were the leaders when I came in as far as numbers go, and they've always shown support for me, and I hope that with every year that this is a special year for them, especially with those numbers. You don't really hear about too many programs that can exceed 12 or 10 as far as players sticking through the program, and these guys have done a tremendous job on and off the field. Academically, they're leaders in our program. Socially, and community service, they're leaders for us. So having a home schedule is almost, in essence, an honor for them, to honor them and their efforts over the last 4 years.
So 12 is a big number. We've had 12 for almost since we were freshmen. We've all played it'll be 4 years together. So we all bond together really well. So having 12 of us together with our experience, it just helps us in so many ways on and off the field. We're a great support system together and role models towards the other younger players.
Well, our goals this year is, we'd really like to perform in the conference. We feel like the last 2 years we've done very well within the regular season. In the postseason and playoffs, we have been nicked a few times, and we feel like we've been outplayed on some level, so we need to take care of playoffs and get the automatic qualifier. We've been in the national tournament now a couple years, but haven't made it past the first game, so we'd like to make as deep of a run as we can, get past that first game, and see what we can do this year in the national tournament.
So we have been working really hard, and our goal is to win the conference and be regular season champs, and also make a deep run into the NCAA and keep building the program that we've started.
It's always tough to lose seniors to graduation, and we have lost quite a few, namely in the forward position, Sarah Parrott, who was a feisty, hard-working forward that was our second leading point getter last year, so we'll be looking to replace her points and her attitude there. In the midfield, Joy Pirto was a really strong presence, all-region player, two-time all-region player, all-conference player. So she's a big hole that we need to fill. That's returners and our newcomers are eager to fill that spot. And then in the back line, both outside backs showed great experience with Kelsey Thomas and Aaron O'Shaughnessy as seniors that graduated. So we'll lose some experience there, but we do have some eager people trying to fill those places as well. Key returners, we've got, starting from the back, we've got a really solid spine. We have Kira Warner and Sam Rabinick, who were both Rookies of the Year, Sam 2 years ago and then Kira last year. Haley Casanova behind them in goal has had great experience. All three are all-conference players. In front of them in the midfield, we have good experience with Abby Johnson and Lindsay Monlock, which will bring some stability through the middle. Still need to play, replacing Joy will still be a question mark at this point, but we're eager for the players to step forward in that. And then up front, Victoria Perry, who was the Conference Player of the Year and All-Region player, that's a real handful, and we think that she's going to have another great year.
We put in a lot of time in the off season. We really try to get the fittest that we can be so that we're ready for soccer, and we also work on specific things to fix areas that we can improve, and I believe that we put in that time and that effort, so we'll be even better this year.
New coming class, we're excited about the addition of athleticism, addition of depth that in really all of our positions. We feel like the outside back spot is at this point a little bit up for grabs, so we're excited about the battle there. Both returners and newcomers are fighting for that spot. We also, as I mentioned, losing Joy, we're looking to see who's going to kind of step up and take that spot. But we also know that our depth has been really expanded, and we know that we're going to be able to maybe sub a little bit more this year, and through our newcomers and even through our returners that have gained more experience over the last couple of years.
I'm really looking forward to just a new group of girls and a new season. I'm a senior this year, so it's my last year, and I've loved every year that I've been here so far. We just have a great program here, and we're all one big happy family, so I'm excited for the experiences, the memories, and a lot of games that we're going to win this year.
Yeah, we're excited about our schedule. I mean, our philosophy with our non-conference schedule is that we all, going into it, we know that the CAC is going to be challenging games. With our non-conference that we schedule, we also want to create a national profile with some of those games and try and pick out some teams across the East Coast, but then even into the Midwest and further, that really push us into the national scene and give us a big challenge. So we know that early on the non-conference will prepare us for conference play. So the notable ones within there, we'll have a trip into Chicago to play Wheaton College and University of Chicago. Also playing Lynchburg College, who was the national champion last year, so they always give us a great test. And then a big cross-town, if you will, cross-river rivalry with Virginia Wesleyan was always a great battle. So we expect going into the conference to be prepared for that. Not going to take anything for granted, even though we've done really well in the conference. We know that people give us a really good game, if not their best game, and we have to come and make sure we do that same thing.
So we have a really great schedule this year. We're playing a lot of very good teams, and I'm excited for the competition, and I think that we're going to be ready, and it's great that we keep building our program where we get to play better teams and just show them what we've got.